Hi, I am a new YouTuber Elephant. Today I am going to share an anime of harem, Immoral Guild. The main protagonist, Mudan, is a hunter. As there are so many monsters in this world, he has no time to live a good life and has been single for many years. Hearing his friend is about to get married, Mudan wants to have a romance, so he decides to resign from the guild. But the guild values him. To detain Mudan, the guild finds many beautiful young girls to work with him. Maybe Mudan can have a fun and romantic relationship. The story starts with a new fighter, Cayenne, coming to register. The receptionist of the guild Noma hopes this sexy orc girl can detain Mudan, so she deliberately sets them up in a team. Seeing Mudan agrees without hesitation. Noma thinks Cayenne attracts him, but actually Mudan just wants to make sure Cayenne is qualified to be his successor. In their first team task, Cayenne reminds Mudan that he was as energetic as Cayenne when he just joined the guild. As they barely start a talk, Cayenne discovers the monster through her superb sense of smell. Their first battle begins. What they encounter is the less robust slime. Cayenne doesn't launch an attack at first and soon gets flanked by two slimes. They are crafty, getting into Cayenne's clothes, which causes Cayenne to lose her fighting power instantly. The slimes hide in the sensitive part of Cayenne. Before he starts to save her, Mudan explains that there might be some unavoidable intimate touch later on, and he doesn't want to cause any misunderstandings. After getting Cayenne's permission, Mudan decisively takes action. With his rich combat experience, he soon eliminates the cunning slime. After the battle, Cayenne just gets herself dressed when she senses the smell of monsters. They once again embark on the journey of hunting monsters. As a fighter, what Cayenne learned before is to face the enemy head-on, and she keeps this as her tactic. Mudan worries that she would definitely lose if she goes on like this, so he teaches her a lot of sneak attacks and trap-digging tactics. But Cayenne is too decent to accept those sneak means. Soon they usher in the second battle. When Mudan is ready to ambush the monsters, Cayenne makes a loud noise, which arouses the monsters' alert. To make up for her mistake, Cayenne blocks in front of Mudan, but just to get held tightly in the arms of the huge monster, just like being entangled by a python. She is now in a danger and can't help crying out of fear. At the critical moment, Mudan shoots an arrow to kill the monster. He also discovers that Cayenne emits hormones that make the monsters lose its mind and be in heat, so maybe she can be good bait in the future. After that, they go back to report on today's achievement in the guild. To detain Mudan, Noma praises them for their good teamwork, while Cayenne is still apologizing for her mistake. At this time, Mudan reveals that he planned to go to college and find a girlfriend after he has a successor, but he is now worried that Cayenne is too weak to deal with the monsters, which may give the monsters chances to invade. Hearing this, Noma hurriedly asks Mudan to think of innocent civilians and persuades him to enhance Cayenne's battle experience. Before Mudan can reject, Noma introduces him another cute teammate, a young white magician, Ange. But Ange mistakes Mudan as a pervert who just wants to pick up girls, so she refuses to team up with him. Mudan explains that he is not interested in children like Ange, which angers Ange even more. She hits on Mudan's head with her wand. Feeling depressed, Mudan complains to Noma about his past. He was either killing monsters or called by others to offer help in activities, even in an activity where couples gathered. But he is single, and he can only envy his peers falling in love, which makes him determined to find his sweet love. Mudan has already made up his mind to train someone to be able to take over his work of protecting civilians as soon as possible. He accepts Noma's proposal and brings Ange to his team. Mudan hopes either Cayenne or Ange can become a good guard. When setting out again, Mudan tells his two companions about the duties of the guards. Hunters, fighters and magicians are all known as guards, whose duty is to protect the town and residents from harm by monsters. After introducing some basic knowledge, Mudan starts hunting slimes with the two newcomers. Mudan thought Cayenne should be able to defeat slimes since she has suffered a loss last time. Unexpectedly, Cayenne still takes a head-on attack this time, again losing to the slimes. One slime locks Cayenne's hands while the other attacks her from behind. Seeing Cayenne in an embarrassing posture with the slimes, Ange decides to give a hand but got stopped by Mudan. He tells her that magician is a long-range occupation and not to expose herself easily. In the end, it is Mudan who eliminates the slimes while Ange cures Cayenne with healing magic. Her healing seems to make a faster recovery than that of other white magicians, so Mudan starts expecting Ange to take over his job. Just then, a giant slime at a higher level shows up. This time, Cayenne shows her powerful skill, which can not only dodge enemies' attacks, but also cause severe damage on the enemy as a counterattack. But if the enemy does not attack Cayenne, the counterattack can't be triggered. The giant slime gets around Cayenne and grabs Ange. Mudan soon shoots an arrow to shatter the giant slime's arm. The slime senses the danger and flees immediately. As they keep encountering dangers, Mudan decides to finish their adventure for today and return to the guild with his two teammates. In the guild, Cayenne again keeps apologizing for her mistakes while Ange shows her gratitude to Mudan with a blushing face. She recognizes Mudan's strength and promises to help the team when she has no classes. Only now does Mudan know that Ange is just a first-year student in high school. Thinking that those monsters are horny, Mudan is worried that they will touch Ange just like how the slimes did to Cayenne. He can't even imagine the blush-inducing scene, so he immediately asks a gnome to change the rules to only allow adults to join the guild. Then, Mudan encounters a big problem. There is another senior deciding to quit his job. Mudan is on the verge of a breakdown. He can't just leave to pick up girls in college at ease when the guild is in shortage of staff. Seeing Mudan worry about being unable to fall in love, a gnome hurriedly announces the good news that 2 more young girls will join Mudan's team. But Mudan never thinks of dating these newcomers in his team. Instead, he has been calculating how much combat benefits will the warrior and the black magician bring to the team. However, Mudan's fantasy soon gets shattered. The black magician, Dana, who looks decadent, keeps saying that she doesn't want to work. She tries to join Mudan's team to get some bonus by doing nothing, for which Mudan feels like beating her up. Before the warrior joins, Mudan wants to test Dana's strength, thus taking her and Cayenne out hunting monsters. Dana likes Cayenne because Cayenne volunteers to do everything, which gives her a chance to be lazy as she wished. When Cayenne senses a monster through her excellent hearing as an orc, she rushes to the forefront alone. Cayenne, the reckless girl, encounters the monster head-on and gets captured by the perverted monster once again. Mudan urges Dana to attack, but only to find this black magician falling on the ground with just a few steps forward. The lazy girl has very poor physical strength. To shirk from fighting, she deliberately tells Mudan that the monster is about to take away Cayenne's innocence if he still doesn't stop it. Mudan can only save Cayenne first, repeatedly warning Cayenne to leave her bravado behind. Dana feels the romantic atmosphere between the two, just like an audience watching a show. But under Mudan's accusation, Dana finally feels some guilt and decides to help eliminate the monsters. The monsters they encounter are in the form of cute rabbits, to which Cayenne gets attracted and lets down her guard. The monsters immediately launch continuous attacks on Cayenne. Seeing these cute rabbits, Dana thinks of the rabbits she raised when she was young and can't attack them. But once she is punched in the face, she gets so furious that she determines to cook over 8 cuisines with these monsters. Dana continuously summons lightning attacks, which are all dodged by the monsters because of her slowness and poor ability in predicting the monster's movement. Mudan doesn't help her, saying that he needs to train a qualified successor as soon as possible so that he can quit his job and have a sweet love in college. Therefore, Dana can only cooperate with Cayenne, but only to find she is no match for the monsters and is almost snatched home by the monster as a wife. At this time, some monsters target Dana, and under their siege, Dana also loses her power to resist like Cayenne. When Mudan is about to give a hand, Dana casts AoE, a wide-range attack, which makes her think that she will not miss her targets anymore. However, instead of eliminating monsters, Dana's attack splits her and Cayenne's clothes. At this moment, Ange happens to wander in the guild after class and sees such a scene, thinking that Mudan did some bad things to the girls out of his desire. When they are arguing, the warrior, Nokins, comes to register. She has been Dana's best friend since childhood, but unlike tiny Dana, Nokins is tall and mature. Hearing Dana's praise for Nokins, Mudan expects her to be a powerful fighter who can take over his occupation. Later, he gets to know that Nokins is the daughter of a famous equipment manufacturer, but Nokins is unlike an arrogant noble, telling everyone to just treat her as a common girl. Mudan sees a team of servants coming to see Nokins off, realizing how powerful her family is. The servants sincerely ask Mudan to take good care of Nokins, and they reveal that there is a taboo about Nokins, about which he can ask Dana. However, Dana is inclined to be lazy and she doesn't join the mission. He can only leave the questions about Nokins to next time. Mudan intends to take the charge in the battle to spare time for Nokins to get used to the team, but Cayenne shows initiative to lead the team. Though agreeing with her, Mudan doesn't want Cayenne to be taken advantage of by the monsters again, so he deliberately pretends to kill monsters by accident, leaving Cayenne with no chance to fight against monsters. Cayenne is upset about it because she doesn't want to be the weak who always needs protection. But before they can draw a conclusion, a boar monster rushes out. Nokins immediately knocks it down with a heavy punch, which arouses Cayenne's adoration for Nokins. Cayenne soon helps the team as she discovers many boars rushing over with her sense. Mudan takes his companions to run downhill, revealing to Nokins that boar monsters are easy to fall when running downhill because of their longer hind legs. But before he can finish his words, Cayenne has already fallen and rolled down. When she still tries to cheer herself up, she soon gets beaten up by the monsters and can't resist anymore. It is Nokins' first battle and she has never seen how perverted those monsters are. She gets shy and angry, deciding to cast the legendary berserk skill to strengthen her power temporarily at a cost of losing her sanity. As Nokins gets enveloped in a blind light, a hurricane blows her side, and she completes her transformation. seeing Nokins being like a drunk child after her transformation. Mudan and Cayenne get shocked as they think she will become a furious warrior. The good thing is her combat power does get strengthened, allowing her to blow the 400 kilos boars away one by one. Therefore, Mudan's team completes the mission of hunting monsters again. But this is not the end. Nokins' berserk state has not been lifted. She then takes off the breastplate and shows her sexy body, hugging Mudan and crying for his praise like a child. Luckily, Mudan avoids being suffocated to death after Cayenne awakens Nokins' sanity. After this battle, Mudan knows what the taboo of Nokins is. He can never reveal what she does in her berserk state. Mudan is very desperate. He thinks if he leaves his companions with obvious weaknesses to fight alone, they will probably be captured by monsters to produce young in such a world full of horny and powerful monsters. Therefore, he can only put off his plan of dating girls in college indefinitely. Otherwise, the hybrids of humans and monsters will be born. Not long after, Cayenne is getting captured by the monsters again. This orc girl loses to even the weakest monster, but Mudan's other teammates are no better than her. The more teammates Mudan has, the more difficult the fight becomes. In the guild, Mudan feels they are more tricky problems for him than the monsters. In recent battles, Mudan has been busy rescuing his companions, which consumes him more energy than killing monsters does. The girls don't really defend themselves when Mudan lectures them, because they know they've brought Mudan a lot of trouble. Mudan wants to investigate the reason why monsters become so horny, but he doesn't want his companions to take the risk. Therefore, he gives them a day off to distract their attention. Cayenne is happy about the vacation and arrives 1 hour earlier than the appointed time. She and Nokins are interested in each other's outfit, which better reflects their nice figures. Unlike the restricting fighting gear, Cayenne details the Orcish clothing, which arouses Nokins' interest since buying clothes is the hobby of most girls. When they are about to go shopping for clothes, Dana shows up. Dana, who looks like a little girl, is actually the most mature one in the group. Just then, schoolgirl Ange also comes over with 2 cadres of the student union. Ange belongs to an influential church, which will spy on its female believers when they are out to avoid them flirting with guys. The girls' vacation trip begins here. They walk in a line in accordance with their body figures. Other girls make fun of Ange's plain body, which annoys her. To comfort Ange, they then make her the first in the line. They get attracted by a dessert shop. Dana wants to know about others' love stories because she always stays at home and has never been in love. But Cayenne is too busy training to fall in love, while Ange is not allowed to have a relationship with guys as a member of the church. Not to say Nokins, who's under strict family education with a bunch of maids keeping their eyes on her. They talk for long only to find each other's youth was so boring. Dana suddenly understands why Mudan wants to resign from the guild to pursue his love. A trick then occurs to her. She calls Mudan and asks which girl will he choose from the team to be his girlfriend. As the girls are nervous about Mudan's answer, he says Enome and hangs up the call. Meanwhile, Mudan gets a copy of the information from Enome, which shows the number of recent deaths of the local guards. 17 of them are males and 9 are females. Mudan did not expect that the monsters would kill women except for having perverted thoughts, because in the recent battles, the monsters showed only sexual desires for Cayenne. After knowing about the monsters' abnormal behavior, Enome worries that more people will be attacked by the monsters. Mudan and Enome talk about it for a long time and meet an agreement to do another in-depth investigation. During the talk, Enome points out Mudan's changes recently. Though he has been complaining about how annoying his companions are, he has great concerns about their safety. The girls have a good time during the day. On their way back home, Cayenne, as an orc girl with an excellent sense of smell, has sensed Mudan nearby but happens to crush him down when she rushes to say hello. Such close body contact allows Mudan to smell the alluring magic scent on Cayenne, and gets to understand why the monsters were so fascinated by Cayenne. At this point, Dana and the other 2 girls pass by, taking a photo of Mudan and Cayenne being close. Despite Mudan's explanation, they deliberately joke about him being a perverted man. Though I also like the funny part, we need to get back to its serious plot. Enome temporarily entrusts the guild's work to a little girl, Eshin, while she will go to the forest to investigate the abnormal monsters with Mudan and Cayenne. Enome knows some basic defensive magic, so generally, she will not be in danger. However, the monsters become very aggressive. Attacks soon come to them, as Cayenne accidentally drops into the trap set by monsters. A snake-like monster with 2 heads emerges from the ground, and Cayenne can't resist the attacks from all directions. Enome is so shocked to see this, though she has known about monsters' abnormalities. When Mudan is about to save Cayenne, another monster wins round Enome. Luckily, Mudan saves her quickly with his sophisticated skills. As he removes the monster from Enome, he inevitably touches her, which almost excites him to cry. Enome's clothes were torn by the demon, so Mudan gives her his clothes. Just when they are about to go back, they remember Cayenne. Mudan immediately turns back to save the poor orc girl. After returning to the guild, Cayenne is stunned to hear Ishun call Inome mom. It turns out that though looking young, Inome is 31 years old. Mudan feels apprehensive, worrying that Inome's husband will kill him if he knows about Mudan's intimate touch on Inome. Today, the annual physical checkup of the guild comes. After checking Mudan, the last one on the list, the doctor leaves. However, the nurse finds she forgot to add the 4 newcome girls to the checkup list, who are Mudan's teammates. Now that the 4 girls have not finished their physical checkups, the nurse asks Mudan to pretend to be the doctor to help her deal with it. In order to make Mudan not recognized by acquaintances, the nurse puts a mask and bandages on him. When his 4 companions come, Mudan is so nervous. Fortunately, he just needs to record the height and weight data reported by the nurse. Next, Mudan has to give the 4 girls auscultations, which means that he will not only see, but also touch certain hidden parts. Nokins is the first to get checked, and her bust shocks Mudan so much that he hurriedly ends her auscultation. Now it is the lazy girl Dana's turn. Mudan is attracted to Dana's fair skin again. To not show his flaws, he casually copes with her and calls the next one. When giving Ange an auscultation, Mudan chooses to listen from the back to avoid seeing and touching the sensitive parts. But Mudan underestimates the girl's charm, and he is also attracted to Ange. In the end, Cayenne comes. When Cayenne just shows a shy expression, Mudan has already felt like being out of control. Finally, Mudan finishes the checkups of the 4 girls. Just then, Cayenne secretly reveals to Mudan that with her excellent sense of smell as an orc, she has noticed it is Mudan who disguises himself as the doctor, which makes Mudan feel so embarrassed. After that, Mudan carries out special training for the girls in groups. He first formulates training to increase the physical strength of Ange and Dana, but Ange reveals that she doesn't like the grouping. What she said offends Dana, who then retaliates against Ange in various ways in training. However, they don't watch out for their moves, and Mudan happens to see a lot of blushing images, so he has to stop their childish behavior to divert his own attention. Dana is always the last during running. She can't help falling to the ground and is unable to move after running for a while. Ange is much better. After all, she is still a student, so she can keep basic exercise at school. Mudan knows that the training now is related to the girls' safety in the future, thus being strict all the time. Under his supervision, Ange and Dana complete the special training with great difficulty. Ange is so tired that she can't even stand steadily now. Mudan proposes to carry her back, but she doesn't want any intimate physical contact, so she refuses. Dana is moved by Ange's efforts and offers to carry her back. However, the next moment, Dana falls to the ground with Ange out of exhaustion. Later, Nokins and Cayenne's training is also over. They are physically better than Dana and Ange and are also very cooperative. During the training, they don't complain at all. Just then, an accident occurs. As Nokins is drinking water to replenish her energy, the water they brought is not enough for her. Fortunately, Mudan also brought a magic potion, handing it to the thirsty girl Nokins, which will soon cause chaos. Mudan then begins to comment on Cayenne's performance. Before Mudan can finish his words, he notices signs of frenzy on Nokins. Mudan is afraid of being hugged and molested by Nokins again, so he hides himself immediately. Now Mudan can only make Cayenne deal with Nokins first while he calls Nokins' good friend Dana to ask about it. Mudan learns that Nokins has very poor magic resistance, and the magic potion she drank just now overloads her, so she loses her mind. Usually, Nokins concentrates the magic in her body into the brain when she is in a frenzy, but her constitution causes her to get drunk before she goes frenzy. Luckily, after the mana is consumed, she will recover, and the duration will be much shorter than the others. However, today's situation is a bit different. Since Nokins drank too many magic potions, her mana won't be exhausted in a short time. She puts all her energy into Cayenne, which makes Mudan blush. Dana teaches Mudan a trick. If Mudan pretends to be injured, Nokins may instinctively come to take care of him. So Mudan pretends to be attacked by an enemy and his finger got injured. As expected, Nokins notices him and clumsily begins to heal his injuries. Everything is going well, but Nokins regains her senses ahead of time. When she sees the intimate position between herself and Mudan, she subconsciously attacks him. After the training, Mudan asks the 4 girls to fight the monsters, and finds the training quite a failure through the actual combat. The 4 girls do not cooperate at all, and even drag down other partners because of their shortcomings. Dana accidentally knocks down the main force Nokins while Cayenne is caught by monsters when she tries to save others, and Ange's cry attracts more monsters. Therefore, the girls are all caught. Finally, Dana ends the battle with a wide range of magic attacks. She considers it a perfect victory and holds a celebration banquet with others. The girls all think Cayenne's food with monsters is delicious, and Mudan echoes that it is good to know how to cook. So Dana suggests that except for Cayenne, the rest girls also make their food to see who is better at cooking. Mudan thinks their food won't be comparable since they've never cooked before, which angers Ange and Nokins so much that they decide to prove that even if they didn't cook before, they can win by talent. Later, Mudan sees Dana roasting meat with a welding mask on and Ange pouring a whole bottle of soy sauce in. Besides, she adds a lot of salt to the pot. Mudan worries that he will have a cerebral ischemic stroke after today's meal. In the end, Mudan goes to check Nokins, who is making minced meat. He thinks she is going to make hamburgers, but Nokins is going to add red beans to the minced meat to make steamed buns. When the food is served, the smell makes Cayenne want to vomit. Mudan is afraid that eating all the darkness food in one go will cause him to die, so he asks the girls to try their own food first. As a result, the food tastes so terrible that the girls' clothes burst directly. Later when the girls chat, they ask Cayenne what part of the monster is used in the food that makes the food so delicious. Cayenne confesses that she uses the most private part of the monster as an ingredient, causing Ange to be so shy that she faints. Afterward, Mudan takes Cayenne and Ange on a quest. Today they need to collect a special kind of flowers. When stimulated, the flowers emit pollen that makes people unable to speak, which will make the magicians like Ange unable to chant to cast magic. The flower has little effect on Mudan and Cayenne, who fight with their fists and don't need to speak at all. Mudan reassures Ange not to worry since they will go back directly after collecting flowers and won't take the initiative to fight the monster. At this moment, Cayenne falls. She soon heals her wounds with her newly acquired skill. She feels pity that her newly acquired skill cannot heal others, but Ange says this is normal. Most people's skills can only heal themselves, and the reason why Ange can heal others with white magic is that white magicians borrow power from the holy bird Phoenix that controls the power of regeneration. After the casual talk, they begin to collect flowers separately, but soon Ange encounters an accident that she is targeted by a monster. When she is about to call for help, she inhales a large amount of pollen and loses the ability to speak. Cayenne's keen sense of smell also fails under the influence of the fragrance of flowers, so she doesn't find that monsters appear near Ange at first. Ange struggles to wave for help, but Cayenne mistakes that Ange is greeting her, so she also waves her hand in response. Poor Ange can no longer rely on Cayenne. As she is about to find a way to save herself, the monster suddenly attacks. At this moment, Mudan finally arrives to save her. Cayenne also rushes over to hug Ange, feeling very guilty for not taking her responsibility for guarding. She then wants to cure Ange with her newly acquired skill. Shortly after, a miracle happens. Cayenne successfully heals Ange. After that, Mudan goes back alone to report the task while the other partners go to the hospital for a checkup. Unexpectedly, someone causes trouble for Mudan again. Inome's daughter Ashun wants to match her mother Inome with Mudan. Inome gets nervous and quickly states that she and Mudan will not be together. At this moment, Inome squats down with a red face. She has a fever today, but she keeps hiding her expression in order not to worry her daughter. Ashun intends to take this opportunity to deepen the relationship between the two adults in front of her, so she proposes that Mudan help Inome change her clothes, but Mudan quickly refuses. Ashun then helps her mother change the clothes, but she deliberately dresses Inome in a very transparent shirt. Besides, Ashun lies that the thermometer is missing, and asks Mudan to help Inome take her temperature with his forehead. Before Mudan can reject her, Ashun runs away. Therefore, Mudan can only sit next to Inome. He then notices that Inome is so sweating that she's about to expose her body figure, so he has to stay to help Inome wipe her body. Meanwhile, Ashun and Rizumisu arrive in the infirmary. Rizumisu is the nurse who asked Mudan to pretend to be a doctor. Mudan learns from her that the actual doctor found that Rizumisu's report was fraudulent. After losing her job, Rizumisu then joins the guild. Ashun lies she will show Rizumisu around in order to leave Mudan and Inome to stay together. Inome is worried about handing over the guild to the two children, and she intends to go out to help. However, she accidentally falls and crushes Mudan under her body, which is coincidentally seen by Ashun. From then on, she starts to call Mudan Dad. At this moment, in the forest, several adventurers of the guild lose the battle against the spider monster, and they hurriedly go back to ask for help in the guild. Affected by mutation, the spider monster's size is 100 times larger than the original, with its perception and toxicity being greatly enhanced, so it can dodge normal attacks 100%. Now Mudan is the last hope to defeat the mutated spider, but the two adventurers who escaped back don't think so. Mudan just ignores them and then takes his team to the forest. In this battle, Mudan divides the girls into two teams. Cayenne, Ange and Nokins will go to rescue others. Before separating, Mudan asks Nokins never to use frenzy. After that, Mudan leaves with Dana, and their mission is to eliminate the spider monster. Dana has heard that the monster is so powerful that she has no confidence in defeating it. Mudan then explains why he chose Dana to team up with him. The reason why the spider monster can dodge attacks 100% is that it can sense which part of it the opponent wants to attack. But Dana casts magic casually without a specific target every time, so that the monster cannot predict her attacks in advance. Mudan intends to give the spider monster a fatal blow in close combat after Dana traps the monster with flames. Just then, the monster attacks them. What Mudan doesn't expect is that the plan to trap the monster spider fails. Although Dana doesn't target the specific location of the monster, her intention to trap it is detected by it. What's worse, Mudan is poisoned while protecting Dana. Meanwhile in the guild, the buttons of Inome's and her daughter Ashun's clothes break, which makes them have a bad premonition. At the same time, Cayenne accidentally falls into the cobwebs woven by the spider monster, and Ange is also stuck to the cobwebs when trying to rescue her. Seeing this, the simple girl Nokins blushes. Later, Nokins rescues them, and they find the adventurer trapped in the forest. At this moment, Dana cries and asks Mudan to quickly wake up, otherwise she will tell others that Mudan forced his female partners to drink alcohol with him. Hearing this, Mudan tries his best to get up though he is still injured and weak, because he doesn't want his reputation to be ruined. Mudan tells Dana that after he got poisoned, he immediately took the potion, but the poison of the monster is so potent that his body is still paralyzed after so long. But even so, Mudan still insists on killing the spider monster first. Along the way, he can't find any other monsters and guesses that they were scared away by the powerful spider monster. But in this way, both those escaped monsters and the spider monster will eventually enter the human territory for hunting. To detoxify Mudan, Dana builds a protective shield with ice magic. Before detoxifying, she takes off her clothes. She tells Mudan that her full name means poison. In this world, there is a rumor that children can get corresponding abilities after they are named. So Dana has never been sick as she has been immune to toxins since she was a child. Dana decides to detoxify Mudan with her saliva. Unfortunately, the saliva does not heal Mudan's skin trauma, so Dana drips saliva into Mudan's mouth as an antidote. After that, Mudan's body immediately regains sensations, and then Dana lifts the shield. After that, Mudan takes Dana to a shelter in the forest and transforms it into a giant trap. He has already rehearsed the battle plan countless times in his mind, so he is confident that the spider monster will definitely die here. He deliberately makes himself bait and manages to attract the spider monster. After that, he runs fast, intending to lead the monster to the vicinity of the shelter. During then, Mudan discovers that the spider monster's ability to deck the opponent's thoughts will be greatly reduced as long as he does not fight it head-on. So he overdraws his physical strength to race with the monster. Meanwhile, Dana is so nervous that she feels like peeing. Mudan arranged for her to ambush around here, and to launch a fatal blow as soon as the monster comes. To ensure the sufficiency of her mana, Dana drank a lot of mana potions. Just when she is worried about peeing on the pants, Mudan finally lures the spider monster back. The monster gets into the trap Mudan prepared ahead of time, and immediately after, Mudan launches his sneak attack on it. Dana doesn't disappoint Mudan either. The spider monster is finally killed after she unleashes an AoE spell that covers a large area of the forest with flames. When Mudan falls to the ground weakly, he finds that Dana's clothes were burned in the explosion just now. This naughty girl deliberately falls on his body and rubs against him, teasing him that she tried hard to hold urine. Hearing this, Mudan gets blushed. After this battle, Mudan finally ushers in a vacation. He is badly injured in the battle with the spider monster, and although Dana detoxified him with her saliva, the wound still takes a long time to heal. Just then, Cayenne comes to Mudan's house to take care of him. She is very good at cooking and provides Mudan with nutritious food. During the chat, Mudan tells Cayenne that he gives all the credit to Dana because he wants to quit his job as soon as possible to find a girlfriend. Hearing this, Cayenne shows a strange expression on her face. After that, Cayenne takes Mudan out to shop. During then, Mudan finds that Cayenne gets along with the residents of the town in a somewhat strange way. The vendors always look at Cayenne with lecherous eyes. When a vendor sells a bitter gourd to Cayenne, he emphasizes that it can be used for other things besides eating, and keeps making some obscene hints. When these people see Mudan standing next to Cayenne, they immediately become hostile to him, as if he snatches away the prey they have longed for. On their way home, Cayenne meets two twin boys she knows, and they keep asking Cayenne to play games with them. Mudan finds that the two boys are even more horny than those men. Though they claim to be young and innocent, they still tease Cayenne in various ways, causing Cayenne to keep screaming. At dusk, Cayenne finally gets free when the two boys need to go home for dinner. At this moment, she reveals her real purpose for going out shopping today. Cayenne wants Mudan to feel the meaning of this job and try his best to protect the peace of the town, and she hopes that Mudan will not quit. Just now Mudan was still touched by Cayenne's words, but the next second he feels complicated when thinking of those horny adults and children that he is protecting. Soon after, Mudan recovers from his injuries and continues fighting against monsters. Now he has a new teammate, the adventurer Noma, who was rescued by Nokins. Mudan feels anxious because each of his teammates is dragging him down, and he is worried the fairy girl Noma will also make things worse. But Noma soon shows her professional side. Her two companions felt ashamed of being defeated by the spider monster and Mudan, so they left the town. But Noma, with a strong psychological quality, insists on staying with Mudan to learn combat skills. Noma and Cayenne are attacked by monsters when they act together. Cayenne once again becomes a monster's toy, while Noma solves the crisis by freezing the monster with ice magic. After being saved, Cayenne has developed an adoration for Noma. But Noma senses that she is inferior. She has been emphasizing that her strength is weak and she always needs her teammates to complete the final blow. Mudan tells her that only adventurers who are often caught as playthings by monsters are the weak ones. Noma was the unimportant one in her previous team and barely participated in battles. Therefore, she feels so happy when she gets Mudan's approval. Mudan is also happy. He has developed a crush on Noma, a fairy girl who is both powerful and modest. Mudan, who has been single for so many years, thinks he is finally about to fall in love. However, what Noma says next makes Mudan collapse. It turns out that Noma is an innocent boy who looks like a girl. Hearing this, Mudan feels much painful than being attacked by a monster. He tries hard to hide his disappointment and pretend that nothing has happened. Worrying that others will notice his abnormality, Mudan quickly stays away from Noma under the pretext of patrolling nearby. He runs faster and faster until he falls to his knees. And at this moment, he hears Cayenne screaming from behind. A giant slime caught Noma and Cayenne. In the past, monsters killed every man they captured, but strangely, it is torturing Noma in various ways now. At the critical moment, Noma shows great adaptability. He and Mudan work together to eventually kill the giant slime. Noma is still very modest, giving all the credit to Mudan. But this time, Mudan does not allow Noma to keep feeling inferior, encouraging the cute-looking boy seriously. After getting greatly inspired, Noma decides to develop a different relationship with Mudan. Mudan thinks Noma is going to confess his love and hesitates about whether to accept boy's love. Just then, Noma suddenly calls Mudan master, which directly shatters all of Mudan's fantasies. Later, Mudan accompanies Inome and Rizumisu on a new mission, which is relatively simple. There is a gentle monster whose skull will keep growing from birth and eventually blocks its sight. Inome's mission is to help break the monster's skull, which can be used to make medicine and equipment. Soon everyone gets into work. Inome and Mudan talk about the spider monster not long ago. In that battle, Mudan risked his life destroying the powerful enemy, and Inome is worried that he often forces himself to fight. Hearing this, Mudan feels ashamed. Since he was busy training the 4 teammates in the past days, he had not gone deep into the forest for a long time. Thus he missed the opportunity to kill the spider monster before it grew. At this time, Rizumisu accidentally screams after getting injured, which will stimulate the monsters with acute hearing and make them become violent. Both Rizumisu and Inome are attacked by the monsters. The monsters prefer women with good figures, so they all ignore Rizumisu and run to besiege Inome first. Seeing this, Rizumisu feels angry. Mudan also gets furious when he sees Inome, the mature girl he likes, being taken advantage of by the monsters, intending to kill them all. At this time, Rizumisu comes up with an idea that she stuffs the mat into her clothes to fake a good figure, which sure enough attracts the monsters. Thus Inome is saved. But the funny thing is that when the mat accidentally falls out, the monsters leave Rizumisu alone and start to graze the next second. Just then, Eshun comes to eat with her mom as it's the lunch break. But coincidentally, Inome's clothes were damaged by the monsters and Mudan is taking off his clothes to cover her. Seeing this, Eshun, who is unaware of what happened before, immediately misunderstands it. After a short rest, Mudan throws himself back into eliminating the monsters. He has been running in with his partners for a long time, but his teammates are still bad at cooperating to fight. Dana will be exhausted and unable to cast magic once she walks a long way, while Cayenne will still be caught by monsters even if she stays at the end. Ange often fails to release magic because of the fear of monsters, and Nokins will lose control once she uses frenzy. Noma is the relatively normal one, but he is so weak in strength that he can't provide much effective help in battles. Mudan is very tired after the battle, and Nokins senses that Mudan seems to be a little distant from her, so she privately reaches Inome to ask if she knows anything. Just then, Rizumisu shows up and interrupts their conversation. Rizumisu laments that Nokins and Inome have the best figures in the guild, with the weapons in the front having a super impact. Coincidentally, Cayenne, whose body figure should be ranked 3rd in the guild, happens to pass by. Rizumisu feels inferior because of her body figure and faints. Cayenne hurries to take her to the infirmary. After that, Inome tells Mudan about Nokins' troubles. To dispel the misunderstanding, Mudan decides to talk to Nokins about the truth of her frenzy, but Nokins' servants strongly disagree, worrying that Nokins will get angry if she knows the truth, so they all run away, leaving Mudan alone to face Nokins. Soon Mudan calls Nokins, inviting her to his house to have a talk. Nokins has always liked Mudan, so she feels nervous and expectant when she receives Mudan's invitation. For this invitation, she deliberately takes a long bath to wash herself cleaner. When Nokins arrives, Mudan smells a strong fragrance from her, but this simple boy doesn't notice Nokins' affection. Mudan then takes out the video of Nokins in frenzy, and repeatedly asks her not to get angry. Once Mudan presses the play button, he ducks in the corner in case Nokins will beat him. Meanwhile, Nokins can't believe her eyes. Seeing herself confessing to Mudan in the video, she feels ashamed and immediately pounces over to cover Mudan's ears. As a result, Mudan is almost suffocated by the round weapons of Nokins. When Mudan is struggling, he accidentally destroys Nokins' clothes and thinks he's gonna be dead this time. But Nokins doesn't blame him, just borrows his clothes to wear instead. After dressing up, Nokins tells Mudan her story. Her father has always been very strict and dissatisfied with anyone, except for Mudan. Since then, Nokins has been longing for Mudan, and it may be this emotion that has led her to embrace Mudan when she was in frenzy. Just then, Nokins' servants show up out of nowhere and gently comfort the young lady. Mudan ridicules these servants as scums, as they only dare to show up when Nokins is not angry. After the joke, Mudan promises to help Nokins deal with the problem that she will lose control every time she uses frenzy. Hearing Mudan's encouragement, Nokins feels very happy, but the next moment Mudan messes up her good mood again, because he mistakes Nokins' feelings for him are worships rather than love. Nokins' servants secretly lament that Mudan deserves to be single. Nokins feels furious when Mudan misunderstands her feelings, so she beats Mudan hard under the pretext of practicing fighting. In the following days, Mudan always helps Nokins overcome the side effects of frenzy, which degenerates her IQ into a child's. Her attacks are irregular, so Mudan is always beaten to be severely injured. Inome comes up with an idea. She puts Nokins to sleep by singing a lullaby. Looking at Nokins, who is asleep now, Mudan and Inome are very worried. Every time the girl uses frenzy, she will lose her mind. During the chat, Inome learns that Nokins admires Mudan, so she thinks of a way to control Nokins. Inome first wakes her up, and lies that Mudan likes quiet girls. Mudan also echoes Inome. Hearing this, Nokins immediately acts like a quiet girl. Just when Mudan thinks Nokins is finally getting better, an accident happens, causing the situation to spiral out of control again. When Nokins sees Inome helping Mudan treat his wounds, her frenzy worsens again, and she breaks Inome's clothes by accident. Worrying that she would be hated by Mudan, Nokins hugs him and begs for forgiveness, almost suffocating Mudan. At this moment, Eshun returns to the guild after school. When she learns that Inome, Nokins, and Mudan have gone out together, she immediately alerts up. Eshun has always wanted to get Mudan and Inome together, but Nokins and Inome are the same type of women with good figures, and Eshun worries that Mudan will fall in love with Nokins, so she decides to secretly observe how the three get along. However, Nokins' frenzy effect has not been completely lifted, and she is lying on Inome's lap calling her mom. Seeing this, Eshun feels like both her mom and dad have been snatched away. Recently, the relationship between Ange and Dana has been very discordant. The Black Magic Church to which Dana belongs and the White Magic Church to which Ange belongs have always been hostile to each other. One day, Dana reveals to Ange who the real murderer in a mystery novel is, and Ange finally has an opportunity to vent her anger. The two pinch each other's face and refuse to let go. Fortunately, there is still a normal person by Mudan's side, Noma, who is often in charge of mediation. Ange has always followed Noma's words, but Mudan feels puzzled. Both he and Noma are elder brothers for Ange, but she does not listen to him. When Mudan tells Ange that Noma is a boy, Ange feels very shocked. She has always taken Noma as a girl because of his good luck. At this time, Mudan senses a gathering of monsters in the distance, and he goes to reconnoiter alone. After Mudan leaves, the monster suddenly attacks Noma, and perhaps because Noma is so cute just like a girl, the monster even starts to tug at his clothes. It's Ange's first time seeing a boy's body, so she gets very shy. Dana tries to help, but accidentally hurts Noma. They all become the toys of the monster. Finally, it is Mudan who rushes back in time and saves them. Dana is very fond of joking. As she has just become safe, she starts to tease that Noma's body is more seductive than Mudan's. Just then, Ange notices Mudan seems to be guilty, mistakenly thinking that Dana and Mudan have already had intimate interactions. Suddenly, she feels Mudan is very dirty. As our protagonists return to the guild after the mission, all the girls receive this month's salary from Inome. Although Cayenne has been on the job for the longest time, she has the lowest record and therefore receives the fewest wages. In this regard, Cayenne has no complaints. She thinks the payment means her work is confirmed. Immediately afterwards, the girls start to discuss how to use the money while Cayenne notices that Mudan has fallen to the ground, exhausted. Hence, Cayenne decides to repay Mudan with her salary. If it weren't for Mudan, she might have been wiped out by the monsters long ago. Cayenne's words resonate with others, who all think that they have caused a lot of trouble for Mudan during the mission. They know Mudan will not take their money, so they decide to repay Mudan with practical actions. Dana learns that Mudan wants to quit his job to pursue the love he missed in adolescence, so she takes the girls to change into schoolgirl uniforms, and breaks into Mudan's house. As a result, Mudan mistakes them as robbers and beats them hard. Just then, Mudan receives a phone call. The person in the call hopes Mudan can bring Cayenne to their appointed place. It turns out that Mudan has always wanted to understand why monsters are only interested in women, especially Cayenne. Dana offers to cook delicious dishes with Nokins and Ange for Mudan when he is out with Cayenne. Mudan recalls his previous experience and becomes uneasy, but he can't quench the girls' enthusiasm, letting them stay at home to make meals. Then, Mudan takes Cayenne to a bookstore, the owner of which is the person he made an appointment with. The man is named Mill, a scholar who has been helping Mudan study the behavior of monsters. He discovered that there are creatures fed on mana. These creatures cannot directly absorb the seether from the outside world or convert them into mana, so they can only devour other creatures to gain mana. And such creatures are the monsters encountered by the protagonists. Monsters like Cayenne because she has a very special physique. Generally, humans are able to absorb seether, but their absorption rate is not even 1%, while Cayenne can make it 100%. So Cayenne is completely the top food for monsters. As for the reason why monsters prefer to attack women, Mill just emphasizes that it will not affect Mudan's work, and sends Mudan away. Although dissatisfied, Mudan still leaves with Cayenne. By the time they get home, Mudan's house is in shambles. Dana doesn't want to admit their failures, making excuses that they're playing the girls in Mudan's youth who couldn't cook. After a brief rest, Mudan and the girls resume their quest to eliminate the monsters, but the girls are captured by the monsters again. It seems that Mudan's life is filled with dark cuisines as well as girls' cries for help. That brings the end of this anime. In this harem anime, I see several completely different female characters. Dana is wicked with many strange ideas, while Ange is a tsundere loli who likes to talk empty. Cayenne is very cute and simple, and Nokins is totally like a princess, kind and gentle. Judging from the ending of the story alone, Mudan seems to not yet have affection for any of them, but I believe these girls must have left good memories in Mudan's life. Also, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I hope I can keep bringing you some different but interesting anime recaps.